Hello everyone, welcome to Pommyinoz. It's great to have you back with me. Today we're going to be previewing the Carlton Football Club, my beloved Blue Boys, and they go up against the Hawthorn Football Club, the team of the tens, if you will. And they're at Optus on the Friday, shall we call it twilight? Is 5:30 twilight? I think it is. If you are new around here, please drop a like and a sub. Means the world to me. And what we're going to do today is we're going to just have a little bit of a look through what the game's going to entail, my thoughts on it, and potentially what the game's all going to be won and lost about. So, I mean, obviously Hawthorn are a team that's kind of really weird at the moment. And when you look at them, they've kind of gone into a big transition. This side here, Clarkson, is kind of like the grandfather of all the modern day sides that we see now. That quick play-on ability of the Doggies, the fast-paced, Hail Mary, direct game plan of Collingwood and Richmond, that all transcends from what Clarkson started. Clarkson's side have always been synonymous, very good skills by kicking the ball, hitting targets, high kicking efficiency, very good by foot, very direct, very intersect, looking to get the ball on the outside, then hit back up in the corridor and hit up inside 50 very early. These have been kind of the staples of how Clarkson's side plays. Genuinely, these sides play well on wider grounds. Their record at the G and their domination of their four-peat was exemplary, and it was partly because they use every little sinew and avenue of the ground. Obviously, we know, they had the behind rule brought into them, that whole rush it behind quickly to get the possession back. This team was a kind of team that, in years gone by, if you gave them the ball, they would heavily punish you. What we've seen this year, and I personally think this is because of a lack of personnel, and we saw it towards the end of the back of last season as well, is that they now are one of the fastest teams at moving the ball in from the mark. It's very quick paced. It's very quick. And when you play a game that is very heavily based on you playing on, you've got to hit targets. And the cold hard facts at the moment are Hawthorn are not hitting enough targets. If we look at last week, they went at just over 50% and they lost. It's kind of a staple. We're starting to see them bomb it in. They're starting to look kind of like a team that is under pressure. The back line doesn't hold the ball up as well. The forward line isn't locking the ball in. It's a side that really has gone through a lot of transitions as well. With injuries, they haven't quite settled on their first six in the forward line. And if we look at where Carlton can beat them, it's probably the turnover ball. They're really struggling to hit targets coming out of defensive 50, and that is where we're really strong. We do play a high forward press, which really does lock them in their defensive 50. And it's where you can start to see a little bit of the Clarkson wall breaking down. Teams have been very successful at doing this, getting that turnover from that second kick out of defensive 50, and it's where Carlton score highly on turnovers. Predominantly our last couple of quarters have been exclusively from scores from turnovers. If you look as well in the forward line, they're turning it over an awful lot. And it also stems from their inability to tag someone in the defensive 50. We saw Lloyd last week go with 34 possessions at 70-odd%. He absolutely killed them. And it'd be interesting to see, have they actually got someone who is a defensive forward that can go on it? The only one that you would allude to is Scully. And Scully's at the moment got the pace of second-hand smart fridge. And there is another issue for Hawthorn. There's another way that we can beat them. If Doc gets his hands on the pill, looking for that transition ball which has hurt Hawthorn, it's where it is. Now, obviously we're talking a lot of negatives about Hawthorn. These guys are no mugs. This team does deserve respect. They are one of the most dominant sides Clarkson built in the last 20 years of football. And they have brought players back for this game. Impey's meant to start. Now, he's going to be a huge one because he does look to hit up inside 50 very early. Mitch Lewis and him combined really well last year, and he has got that ability to really break from the wing, take a play on really quickly, long penetrating kick, and hit up inside 50. That is what Hawthorn are looking to do. They're looking to be real quick, catch you off guard before you get a chance to get into your defensive sets. Another guy to watch out for is Mr. James Sicily. We saw James Sicily last week sneak up forward, and you can see this is where Clarkson is struggling. That forward line isn't kicking A, enough goals, B, putting enough pressure, and C, presenting well enough. Now, Sicily is a natural footballer. He's an odious character. No one quite likes him. But he is that kind of player that can change a game. But obviously, if he goes up forward, that leaves up space for McKay. That leaves up space for Callum Moore if he's selected. Eddie Betts, players like that, genuinely the smalls as well, have had real great success against Hawthorn. And it'll be interesting to see what they do with Sicily, because Sicily really is the key cog forward and back. If he's down back, he's taking them into set marks, he's looking to get the game going on, he's a mercurial character, and if he's in the forward line, he's a tough matchup. Now for me, Jacob Wheatering has got his number if he does go forward, and I do think Harry has got his number forward. Now what you do with him is a tough one, and please check out Analytics Corner on Blue Abroad, and I'll go into it a bit more detail, but he is someone there that is real pivotal to how they do it. All in all though, the engine room is where this game will be won and lost. They haven't got an A-grade ruckman at the moment. You see that McAvoy, Segler's still injured, and that is where really that they are struggling. You've got Jaeger, who's going at real low-end disposal efficiency numbers. Warpole is not really living up to the hype, and it's leaving Titch exposed. And the one thing about Tom Mitchell is he's very good when players around him play well. The kind of thing with Tom Mitchell is when he's left exposed, he's left as the primary ball getter and no one's giving him the help. That is where you'll start to see these crunching numbers. They start to crunch down. It's going to be a real impeccable job of who goes on him. Someone like Ed Kerner's going to have to really look out for that, really stop him going on. And for me as well, when you look at their midfield, Isaac Smith is always one that you worry about. He gets the game going. In the recent times though, when the game has been lost, he's kind of just run off the ball. He's kind of run into a place where it's almost like a game of avoid the ball at all costs. And it is a team that is really dysfunctional. And when a team is dysfunctional like this, it only takes a team playing bad for them to play themselves back in form. And mark my words with that. If Carlton don't approach this game with the physicality they have done in the last three, Hawthorn will win it. But the signs are good for the Blue Boys. So for me, all in all, in synopsis, what we've got to do is look to really alleviate, put a lot of pressure on it. Their kicking is their key strength. That is where they look to attack. You put a lot of pressure on that kicks, you force them turnovers. It's going to be turnover central for Carlton. And I think moving forward, that is super important for the boys. I really do firmly believe they get the dub. For me, I think around the ground, the key matchups that we have, Carlton win. And for me, that is a big tick. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know, who are you worried about? Who do you see as a potential matchup that wins? Till next time, Pom out, go Blues.